What's up, YouTube? This is CJ.
And Sarah.
It's a Wednesday, and that means it's time for another Keto
Conversations.
So let's get started. So this week we're going to come at you with a really practical video, Keto Conversation, about 7 tips for doing keto on a budget. And so, Sarah, you found this, and
this is a topic very close to my heart.
Yeah. Why is it close to your heart?
Because I'm cheap. CJ lovingly refers to it as frugal, but I'm cheap.
Yeah, you're frugal. We've actually talked about some of these before in other videos, but this is probably the first time we put them all together in one video. So I'll let you start. You got the list. I'm going to try not to refer to my iPad.
Okay. I have my own notes here.
Yeah.
So the first tip is to keep it simple. And of course that tip can be used for a lot of areas in your life, but definitely for keto.
Yeah.
So you really don't need pricey specialty ingredients or strange exotic foods. For the most part, keto is a meat, a vegetable, and a fat. So that can be things that are incredibly simple. And as we go through these other tips, you'll also find that it can be things that are on sale, things that are in season, etc. So try and keep it simple.
Yeah. And I want to say this again, and we've said this before, you know, we have a keto food channel. We do recipes. We try to show people that you can have all kinds of delicious foods on keto, and it can be a lifestyle.
And things that you have enjoyed previously in your carb eating.
However, we don't eat super fancy every day for every meal. We don't. We've said this before. We, like, during a week, we may make a recipe.
Mm-hmm. And so we will eat that sometimes a couple of times. Yes,
we will eat that. But for the most part, our breakfasts are pretty boring. If we do breakfast, a lot of times I'm just doing a coffee, maybe a bullet coffee.
CJ does breakfast and lunch. I do not. So.
Yeah, and but again, back to that point, keeping it simple. Again, we have a food channel. We do have specialty items, and we were talking about this earlier today.
But when we're talking specialty, I'm not talking about like going out and getting saffron or something, that's like, $30 a pound.
Yeah, you don't need to get crazy. But
no.
I know somebody a couple of weeks ago mentioned, I don't know, it was in a comment about the expense of keto and almond flour. And let's keep going down the list, because we're going to talk about some of that as well.
So that can go ahead and lead us into our second point, which is buy in bulk. Places like Costco, food warehouses, Sam's Club, farmers markets, any place that you can buy merchandise and get quite a bit of it for a discounted price. Yeah. And to me, almond flour is not a specialty food, but I mean, that's an opinion. That's my opinion.
I don't think almond flour is a specialty food.
You can find it on the shelf at Walmart.
Yeah.
And maybe it might not be the largest bag. It might not even be the best deal versus going to like a Costco or buying something online. Mm-hmm. Or you can even go to, natural food places and sometimes buy it in actual bulk where it's a bin and you scoop it out yourself. And that can be a really discounted price as well. Right. So things like almond flour, you can buy those in bulk. And, almond flour are in a lot of keto prepared foods that aren't just your basic meat, veg, fat that we talked about earlier. Sure. If you want to make any kind of keto breads or keto cookies or biscuits or pancakes or anything like that, you're probably going to need almond flour. And to me, the price versus regular flour is not that extreme, in my opinion. Sure,
I agree, but I mean, you have to realize that keto, it is different. It's not the same as the regular standard American diet, and so there are going to be some things. There are going to be some expenses probably up front.
But you're also not buying loaves of bread. You're not buying bagels. You're not buying tortillas. You're not going to the bakery and spending $4 or $5 on a box of donuts or something like that. So if you offset that with a natural food product to help accompany some of the basics in your keto diet, then you're going to break even pretty much.
So buying in bulk is good. I know we have, and we've talked about almond flour a lot, but I know we have found that we can buy almond flour at Costco, because we have a Costco available. Shopping online at Amazon is another good option for some of the products that you might
Some of your
need.
sweeteners,
Right, for your sweeteners.
erythritol and things like that.
Yeah, so Amazon
are usually a better deal.
source.
Yeah.
And again, they are things that you may buy one time and have a one-time expense up front.
Right. But it's going to last you.
It's going to last you. We go through a lot because we're preparing, food.
We prepare foods for a food channel.
Right. But
so
if we weren't, we wouldn't be going through as much as we did. So buy in bulk is the second point.
Right. So our next point is buy fatty cuts. They're usually cheaper cuts, so fattier meats. Things like chicken legs, meat on the bone, bone-in pork chops and things like that. 80-20 ground beef, things that have a higher fat content are generally less expensive at the grocery store than chicken breasts.
You don't need to run from the
sirloins.
fat. You don't need to run from the fatty meats, fatty cuts. Because,
exactly.
I mean, it's helpful and part of being on keto. So.
And save your bacon drippings.
Be cheaper, right?
Yeah, things like saving your bacon drippings. So when you make your bacon, even if you end up buying the fattier cuts of bacon, then in the end you're going to have drippings. Then you can recycle those drippings and cook with them and make salad dressings and etc. So there's ways to move that savings on then further down the line after you've already eaten the initial food. Yeah. Also, if you do any kind of meat with bones in it, you can then save those bones and make bone broth. There are ways that you can go ahead and keep recycling basically and get as much out of your meat as you possibly can.
Good points. I've never done that, but good points. Number 4, shop sales.
Yes. This is a point that I wrote down that I thought is very applicable. Investing in a chest freezer and or a second refrigerator. CJ and I are going to invest in a second refrigerator for the garage. And if you go to a used appliance store, they're only a couple $100, at $200 to get an additional refrigerator. You can put it in your garage or in a shop, or and some people have mud rooms in their homes. I know my parents have an additional refrigerator in their mud room. And it just makes it easier for you to shop the sales, because then say you find eggs and they're just a crazy deal. Well, where am I going to put 10 dozen eggs? It's going to take up your entire refrigerator. So having, a second refrigerator and or a freezer, then you can buy those meats that you find in bulk, or meats that happen to come into season, like when turkeys are on sale during the holidays. You could buy more than one.
That's true.
And then put it in your freezer. Ground beef.
Now, I'll say this tip. I mean, my family, when I grew up, they always shopped sales. We always had an extra freezer. We always had an extra refrigerator specifically for that, so that they could shop sales. They would buy stuff in bulk.
Exactly.
And stuff would, and it would just save money.
Right.
Over time.
And so you might have, once again, that initial investment where you purchase, the freezer or the additional refrigerator. And then also something to consider is perhaps buying a food saver. You have, they have come down quite a bit in price over the years, and that means that you can then save your food in plastic, so that you don't run the risk of freezer burn and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I've got one that I think I've had for at least 15
They last a long time.
15 or 16 years. Got a little bit of an issue, but it's just a minor thing. Still works fine. We use it all the time, and it definitely comes in handy when you're shopping sales and you want to separate packs of meat or whatever.
Because a lot of times there's a grocery store around here, it's called Super Saver. And some people have, if you're lucky enough to have a place like Aldi or somewhere else like that, or even just your general farmers markets, a lot of times you can find these cuts of meat. You can find these great big roasts, or these giant packs of pork chops, or 80 chicken drumsticks in a package, and they end up being like 30 cents a pound, meat sales like that where you can really get a good deal. Then you use some of these tips, like freezing, refrigerators, that kind of thing, can definitely help cut down.
And it's just, and again, Sarah mentioned we're gonna invest in another refrigerator. We kind of look around Christmas time. We kind of stop by a place.
Yeah, things if you want to buy extra cheese.
We haven't done it yet, but it's on our list of things to do, and we're gonna do it. And I know it'll come in handy because our refrigerator all the time is just packed.
Well, even we buy butter in bulk.
Yes.
You know, 'cause, hey, keto, it's all about the butter. And bacon, you know, there are things that when we find them, and they're a good deal.
I'm always picking up
and we know we
bacon.
use them. Yeah. I mean, you know, heavy whipping cream, just all the things that you use on keto, you want to be able to store them and not have them fall behind in your refrigerator and then get wasted.
Yeah.
So it is nice if you can have some additional space in that regard.
Yeah.
So that's another tip. So our fifth tip is to buy in season. So here's an example. Tonight I bought some asparagus. It was terrible. Asparagus is not in season in February.
No, it's not.
That was my bad. So learn from me. Try and buy vegetables that are currently in season. Yes, in the dead of winter, there aren't very many vegetables that are in season, but some vegetables do look better than others and do taste better than others this time of year. So that's definitely a tip because your vegetables are going to be likely more fresh, more flavorful, and less expensive too.
Yeah.
So that is definitely a good tip.
Yeah. Yep. Number 6, frozen is fine.
And I have taken a lot of guff for this particular tip because I've taken quite a bit of ribbing over buying frozen cauliflower. But hey, I love frozen cauliflower. I love buying Walmart's frozen cauliflower. It's 99 cents. You get 16 ounces. It cooks up the same every time.
Yep.
You open it up, it's beautiful. To me, I don't understand the concept of fresh vegetables at all time. In the middle of the summer, when you buy local organic vegetables, high five, that's amazing. But in the dead of winter, instead of waiting for my cauliflower to come 3 or 4 days on a truck, I can just go in and get it frozen, and most of the time that is processed at the plant where the vegetables come in. So your produce ends up actually being more fresh in that sealed package than if you were to go and get something that is an actual fresh product.
Yeah. So. And then I'll also address, so the whole frozen is fine thing, we aren't the keto police.
No.
I know there's probably some keto police watching us. And all of our recipes aren't all fresh vegetable,
organic,
everything,
free range,
organic, right? Free range, this and that, grass fed. It's not. We do that because when we started keto, and even today, we do keto like we think real life people will do keto.
Budgetary.
And it's
neither one
right.
of us. I mean, we both work full-time jobs.
Yeah.
We have small children. We have overheads. We have bills. We're like any other person.
Yeah,
we're not independently wealthy.
And if we could buy free range and grass fed everything, still don't know if we would do it. I don't know if we would do it because I don't know if
I feel there's a certain flavor.
Right. I don't know if it's made that much of a difference even when we have had it.
Right.
Again, we're not the keto police.
No.
We try to make recipes that you can make and have flavorful foods at your home, and that you can like. Even if you can get your family to try it, they can like it. But we're not always going to have fresh this and fresh that because, again, we're just like Sarah said. We're normal folks just like you are. We got budgets. We have expenses. And we just live life.
Well, and I think
keto the way we can do keto.
I think what's most important is to identify the quality foods that are most important to you. Everyone probably has something that they're extremely attached to where they will not buy generic or they will not buy, and that is great. If you have a single food or a couple of items where it's important for you to buy the name brand, or if you're just totally sold on Dairy Gold butter, by all means, definitely continue to buy that if that fits into your budget and into your lifestyle.
Sure.
That is totally awesome. Everyone has those things that are very close to their heart that are very important to them as far as food quality. And then skimp in other ways, save in other things, and that way it will offset your preference in that particular food.
Sure. So frozen is fine. I'm thinking, as I keep talking about that point, I'm thinking that there's a video out there by Dr. Westman who talks about...
Dr. Westman is very big on this topic because he's actually asked this quite often about food quality. And in his mind, it's more important that you learn to eat low carb and stay within dietary guidelines in that way. And then, as you practice this lifestyle and maybe as you rearrange foods, then maybe your food quality will come up. Instead of, maybe you start out eating hot dogs or a lot of McDonald's or something, and then as you progress on this lifestyle, maybe you treat yourself to nicer cuts of meat or organic vegetables or, dairy products from a farm, those kinds of things. A lot of people progress in the processes of their food. But if you start out and that's not what is in your budget or even in your wheelhouse, maybe you just don't like it, then there's nothing wrong with that. That doesn't mean that you're not doing keto correctly.
Yeah, good point.
It just means that is where you are right now.
Right.
And whether or not you ever change that, it doesn't really matter.
That's totally up to you to decide.
And don't let anyone make you feel bad about it. If they try to, just say...
What was that? Okay.
Neener.
All right. And so then number 7 is... what is that? Buy specialty foods?
You can't read my handwriting.
You're right. Buy specialty foods.
Online, if possible.
If possible, okay.
Yes, or in bulk foods, like I said before. A lot of times, Amazon, sometimes you can order directly from food companies and get their product. And sometimes they'll have free shipping, or they'll have deals, they'll have sales. And the other one that I mentioned before is going to some place that has bulk food items. We shop at a grocery store that has a huge selection of bulk items. And a lot of times then you can just get exactly what you need. If you only need, a cup of something, you could actually purchase a cup.
Right.
So where we go to, you're able to dispense almond butter, peanut butter, different types of vinegar, avocado oil, those kind of things can now be found in a lot of commercial grocery stores where you can actually purchase them individually in bulk, so that you don't have to buy an entire bottle and spend that initial cost if you don't want to, or if you don't think that you will use that product up before it goes bad.
Right. And we are affiliates of Amazon, but we don't tell you guys to shop at Amazon because we're making gobs and gobs of money.
Affiliation does not work that way.
It doesn't work that way.
No.
But we tell you where we get these products from, or like Sarah mentioned, these specialty products, erythritol.
Right.
Or
because I do find that it is a better deal.
We find that it's a better deal, and that's...
If you can get a pound of erythritol for around $10 versus going somewhere else and buying even like the brand name of erythritol and spending quite a bit more on the grocery store shelf, that is what I prefer to do. But that is my personal choice. Plus, I don't have to go anywhere. It comes to my door. There's lots of other reasons.
And everybody's got different preferences how you like to shop. We shop on Amazon a lot for a lot of different things.
Yes.
But that's just how we are. It's just where we are. And so we try to pass that information on to you so that you can have success and also save some time and money, because again, we're not advocating that you buy anything that's costing you a whole lot of money.
No. But there are things sometimes too that you can't find locally, depending on where you live. If you live in a very small town or whatever the case may be, or even right now, wintertime, where it makes maybe it's prohibitive for you to go out more than you necessarily have to, and so sometimes having something come to you can be a valuable service.
Well, and I think when we started keto, have you ever seen erythritol in the store? I've heard that
they now have Swerve, but I've heard that
Swerve is in the store.
Yes.
I have yet to see it.
You can now purchase Swerve at Walmart.
Okay, if it's in the Walmart, I still haven't seen it at a Walmart because I looked for it.
Our Walmart gets out of things.
And so, again, we talk about Amazon.
I will be jumping up and down excited if they get artificial sweetener at Costco. Then I will be extremely excited. You know, get erythritol there.
Oh, excuse me. I always tell Sarah that when stuff starts showing up in Costco, then you know it's a real thing. So, like, we can buy our almond flour now.
Natural peanut butter. We can get hemp hearts.
I've seen coconut oil. I've seen pictures on Instagram about MCT oil at Costco's. I haven't seen it here in these states yet, but I've seen it. And I've always said if Costco
Gets a certain product.
or Sam's Club's got a certain product, it's a real thing.
It's a real way of life.
They're not putting their money in some fly-by-night thing that's just gonna pass by. So, hopefully these 7 tips will help somebody as you do keto and you work through the keto lifestyle. I don't think, again, you mentioned, we're not buying a lot of the other stuff, so I haven't.
No. I haven't felt that this lifestyle has been particularly more expensive than the lifestyle I was living before, because some prepared foods are very inexpensive, but a lot of prepared foods are expensive.
Yes.
It's almost $5 for a bag of chips, depending on where you go.
Yeah.
So I mean,
believe us, we know, because we still
have children, and there are still occasions where chips are purchased.
If we were to go into our pantry right now, it's not all keto stuff. There's chips and all kinds of crap in there. Because we have kids who eat that stuff.
Not all the time.
Yes, they don't eat it all the time.
Don't send the keto kid police either. We will not be home.
But again, we still know the prices
of other things.
Know the prices of other things because we are buying other things because we have kids and they don't pull. Well, I think my daughter probably eats more keto than any of the kids, and so anyway. These are 7 tips that hopefully
And if you have any tips
and
you would like to share anything that you feel has been particularly helpful in budgeting on keto, then please feel free to share.
That's true.
Why we have these
found this in an article from the folks over at Keto Evangelist. We'll put a link to it. I'll try to find a link to Dr. Westman.
Yes, talking about food quantity versus quality.
Right, I'll try to find a link to that and put it in the description. But like Sarah said, if you have something that, a tip or something you want to share, put them in the comments and we all can grow together.
We can all save $1. Let's do that.
Yeah. What do you say? What you're saying?
I can make $1 holler.
You can make $1 holler. Okay, yes.
Holla.
That's true. And I keep telling Sarah she ought to start a channel about how to shop because you cannot believe the deals she gets on clothes. Oh man, it's amazing.
If it's not a good deal, I don't buy it.
It's amazing what she can do with $1. So thanks for watching. We hope that you have a great rest of the week. Let's see, you want to tell people what we're making next week?
Sure. In anticipation of Valentine's Day coming up, I'm going to be making a sweetheart themed dish. I'm going to be calling it Keto Sweetheart Strawberry Pie, and it's going to be cream pie. So you can eat it with your sweetheart.
Wow.
I'm going to feed it to my sweetheart.
Oh, yep. See, I got all the benefits of being the taste tester. And your sweetheart.
Oh, thank you.
So if you're new here and you just happened upon this channel or stumbled on this video, this is our Keto Conversation segment where we try to do relevant keto topics every week, every Wednesday. We do new recipes every Sunday. So we hope that you can consider subscribing and becoming part of our keto family. Because we all feel like we learn to get from each other, grow stronger, and have success on keto. Have a great rest of the week, and we will talk at you later. Bye-bye. Peace.